Your host is Tobias Macey, and today I'm interviewing Saket Saurabh and Avinash Shahadad Puri about Nexla, a platform for powering data operations and sharing within and across business boundaries. So, Saket, can you start by introducing yourself?
Hi, this is Saket. I'm co-founder, CEO at Nexla. I'm an engineer by background who eventually went towards the business side, and I've been in the world of data for almost 12 years now.
And how about you, Avinash?
Hi, I'm Avinash, founder CTO here at Nexla. Prior to this, I worked with Saket on his previous startup, which was in the mobile ad tech space. And before that, spent a bunch of years building data systems in financial services, so risk management platforms, and trading systems, etc. Great to be here.
And going back to you, Saket, do you remember how you first got involved in data management?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, I was an engineer by background through several companies. But then in 2009, I started a company for, building a mobile ad server, one of the early ones at the time. In that company, which was called Mobsmith, we ended up building a pretty complex data system. As you know, Tobias, there's a lot of data in the advertising space. That's why you've seen Google, Facebook, and these companies build a lot of data technology, right? We ended up building a system that would process nearly 300 billion records of data every day. We're doing some very sophisticated machine learning on that for pricing, ad auctions, and so on. Ended up creating a huge data platform as part of this advertising startup that I was doing. That's what got us into the data space. Yeah.
And Avinash, how about you?
I was building risk management and trading systems on Wall Street. We found this ad tech company. We were very early users of most of current state of our technologies. So very early users of Kafka, very early users of Spark. And then we saw this problem from very close quarters that every time a non-engineer came to us with a requirement, we were like, oh, we need to put this to the back of the queue. And it will take us a few months to do this. This is where we thought about how about we build something which makes it easy enough for a non-engineer to build a data solutions with sort of the rigor of an engineering system.
In terms of the Nexla platform, you mentioned that it's aiming to help reduce some of that time delay and backlog in terms of being able to incorporate new requests and new data sets. And I'm wondering if you can just give a bit of an overview about what it is that you've built there and some of the story behind how you got it started and why you've decided that this is the problem that you want to focus on right now.
So, as I said, there's a lot of data in advertising. For Avinash and me, for both of us, as well as our other co-founders, we felt that the data challenge that we worked on advertising was super interesting. We were not as enamored by the advertising and the media side of our business, right? And I had come into this world of data through the way of the compute side of the world through having worked at NVIDIA. And when we came together and we're looking at this at our last company, we felt like, look, there's a lot of data in here. We end up getting data from hundreds of different partners and companies, and clearly we have gotten a lot of value applying that towards machine learning. So the thinking that took us towards Nexla was that this is a problem, and this is back in 2014 for setting context, right? So this is in 2014, we're thinking, well, we think more and more companies will use data in more efficient ways, but it will be really hard for them. There's a lot of technology that has to go in, and that started to seed the idea of Nexla inside of us, which is, hey, companies will have data in their organization. They will have data that they will get from their ecosystem. It'll be hard to work with. More and more people need to work with data, however. So how do we make that happen? How do we take all this complexity and growing complexity of data, and how do we make it possible for someone who is not an engineer to be eventually able to work with it and say, this is what I want to do with my data? And that was the core behind starting Nexla.